we also have the Congress's Randeep Surjewala on this very important story. See, there is a reason why we are discussing all aspects of this story, because 3,000 kilos is a huge amount, and there is a bigger amount that is being spoken about in media reports, and the Congress party is talking about it. Mr. Surjewala, on the drug haul, the government says that this seizure is a result of the DRI's efforts. So, there is no question of hiding anything or sleeping on the wheel. It's a government agency which ensured that something like this happened.
The most important part is the drug haul of 3,000 kg of heroin, tom-tommed as telecom powder blocks worth 21,000 crores has been found. But in June 2021, the same company which has been caught doing this, which is a fake company with fake address, has taken out from the same Adani Mudra port in Gujarat 25,000 kgs of heroin, again mentioned as telecom powder blocks, the value of which will be 1,75,000 crores. What worries me as an Indian is these drugs are now in the market. There is no consigner, there is no consignee. Somebody has taken those drugs through the port and they are now in the market. They endanger our national security. For this money is going to go back to Taliban, and we don't know who else. They endanger the youth of this country. 25,000 kgs of drugs or heroin in this country can play havoc in the entire country. And post this June 2021 import, if you remember July 2021, 354 kgs of heroin was recovered by Delhi police. Where else this has gone is something that is unprecedented, never in the history of this country. 1,75,000 crore value of drugs have come in without any intervention, check or balance from the government. Where is Narcotics Control Bureau? Where was DRI when this 25,000 kgs were being imported? Where was IB and CBI? Where was the government? All this needs to be investigated, and government has clearly faltered.
No, Mr. Surjewala, why would you then say, why do you feel, and what arguments can you place to say that the government is playing down this drug haul, because they say that we are clearly not? And another important point that I wanted to ask you, which I asked Mr. Kheda also and other panelists, do you think a consignment this huge can come in without political patronage? That it can be circulated, that it can land without anyone not knowing?
That is a question that Congress party and I asked today. Who are these drug cartel people? After all, those import-export license that was used of some Ashi exports, it is now out that they received some 10 lakh rupees of commission. So naturally, there is a bigger cartel operating in this country who are tarnishing the future of the youth and pushing them towards drugs. Can they operate 1,75,000 crore, 25,000 kg one, then 3,000 kg worth 21,000 crore has already been recovered. So 2 lakh crore of drugs, can they come into this country without some political patronage? And where is the government? Why were they sleeping? Why has the private port, that is Adani port, not been investigated? After all, there is no consigner, there is no consignee. Somebody would have taken possession, no? How can they walk away like this? And what were the custom authorities, the police, the IB, the Narcotics Control Bureau, what were all of them doing? So these are questions that rightfully need to be answered by the Prime Minister. Government has failed and faltered. That's why we have asked for a Supreme Court sitting judge inquiry into the matter.
Okay. Yes, you raised that in the press conference also. But there's one point that you mentioned, Mr. Surjewala, is that of investigation on the Adani port. Now, there is a statement from the people who run this port, the Adani group. They're saying basically that our responsibility, as is the responsibility of any port manager, is to manage the operations of the port. It's not our job to open each and every container, look into consignments. How can we be blamed?
No, I appreciate it, Sanket. But tell me, if from NDTV office or from an NDTV car, 1,75,000 crore worth of drugs were recovered,
Oh God.
would you not be questioned? The entire NDTV management would be hauled. They should also be questioned. Why is it that a private port is being used for importing drugs from Afghanistan? Those are also with connections to Taliban. And 2 instances we can now identify. How many more such instances have happened? Should all the ports in the country not be checked that in garb of telecom powder how much more heroin and other drugs have come? How many times it has escaped notice altogether? These are rightful questions that need to be asked. I am not saying somebody is guilty today or not guilty today. I am only saying if drugs have gone through your establishment, you should also be questioned. After all, these are fake companies sending drugs in, receiving drugs in this country and probably throwing them in the market as you and me speak today.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Surjewala. And let's just hope that day never comes that you are talking about of, there being drugs on the NDTV premises. That will never happen. And let's just hope agencies don't come knocking ever. Right. Thank you so much for joining us.